Hey Virgo, we're going to be doing your reading, so we're going to get right into it and see what is going on for you guys, Virgo. All right, Virgo, let's see. All right, we'll start there. All right, Nine of Wands is at the bottom. So, all right, let's see. You guys have the Six of Pentacles. This is showing up for your energy. I'm getting something about you are in the energy of either receiving back something that you gave to somebody else. Okay, I got to be completely honest here, Virgo. I'm understanding this as like if you gave somebody the cold shoulder, I almost feel like maybe they're like, okay, well, I'm going to kind of do that to you now. I'm not saying that's right or wrong or anything, okay? But I'm definitely understanding something about that, okay? For others of you, it could certainly be that you're just in the energy of maybe having some type of like even exchange of something, okay? Something about that. But I do think for maybe some of you guys, there is this energy of noticing like, I don't know, like having something, that's kind of the best way I can explain it really is like if you did something to like somebody, I feel like there's like retaliation almost. And I don't mean this in like a, you know, a huge major deal, okay? If anything, I feel like it's probably subtle or like high priestessy in that way, that kind of thing, okay? So, all right, let's see. For others of you here, Virgo, it could be that maybe you're in the energy of wanting to kind of like give back in some sense, or just being like really sure about what it is that you want to like allocate like your money, time, energy, whatever it is, that kind of stuff, okay? There might be something here that you're having to make like a real clear I don't know, being like, I'm going to give this thing to this person or this group or this whatever the heck. That it could be donating something, to be completely honest, okay? That kind of stuff. So, all right, let's see. You guys have the Two of Cups, and this is showing up in the area of your feelings. So, okay, that's what I'm saying. There's something that is like paired together here, or there's something that I swear to God, and I don't think this is for like all of the Virgos out there, but I am getting like a really pretty clear storyline here of like, again, like I want to say retaliation, but that does sound like it sounds more dramatic than what I'm like understanding here, okay? That's kind of what I think is going on. So this Two of Cups in the air of your feelings, it could be that you're feeling like, okay, well, like this makes sense, or like this, like I understand why, or something like that, okay? I even understand like reading between the lines with something, that kind of stuff, okay? And then for others of you, if this is like, again, you being in the energy of being like, you know what, I'm going to give back to something, or I'm going to donate to something, or volunteer, or whatever the heck it is, that kind of thing. It could be that you're feeling like, hey, I bet you that was like, somebody's going to want this. This is you know, somebody could use this maybe more than I can, or something like that. So, all right. In your environment, you guys have the Knight of Pentacles here. I feel like this is something that has not started yet, or something that is taking a really long time to like actually get up and running, that kind of stuff. There might even be the energy of somebody who is like, I don't know if this is the energy of being bored, but it feels like the energy of like this is taking a long time, or like I need to start doing this, but I haven't yet. Okay, something about that. There's this Knight of Pentacles is really interesting to me, okay? I almost feel like there's somebody who is like maybe not paying attention to a certain thing, maybe because they are feeling like something is like, oh, this is kind of dry, or this is kind of boring, something like that, okay? Possibly, but I'm not really getting like slammed with that energy, all right? Okay. It also could be that there's maybe a person in your environment who's like, I have plans for this, or I know what to do with this thing, but I haven't started yet, you know, that kind of thing. So, all right, you have the Empress, and this is showing up as your goal here. So, I mean, I do think that there's, I'm telling you, for some of you guys, I swear, it's like you have the goal of like helping somebody out, or again, like, you know, like donating, volunteering, something about that, or just being like, I know that I'm going to put my energy into this thing, or I'm going to give this thing to this person, whatever the heck it is. Maybe this is being really generous. Maybe this is giving like a gift just from your heart with no strings attached, that kind of stuff. Certainly could be. But with this Empress card showing up, I do think that your goal here is to like help somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe even like showing somebody else like a piece of like luxury in some sense. You know what this is reminding me of? There's like, I don't really know like where this thing started from, but I heard it when I was like a kid. It was something like, it was like a story like somebody donated like a fancy ring, or gave like a fancy ring to like a homeless person or something like that. And it was like the understanding was like, hey, just because like you're homeless doesn't mean that like you wouldn't like a really nice object or a really nice thing, something to kind of like just make you feel like good about yourself or whatever the heck it is. I don't know why that's coming through, but I'm understanding something about that. And I do think that there's this energy of you guys, again, wanting to like help out in a certain way, okay, that kind of stuff. Maybe there, for some of you guys, maybe you have the goal of receiving donations, okay? Maybe that's what's going on here as well for some of you. And maybe your goal is to hit a certain number, okay? Or to be like, okay, we can reinvest this back into whatever it is we're doing. Something like that. So, all right, you have the Three of Cups, and this is showing up as the challenge. Three of Cups as the challenge. Okay, this could be, I wonder if multiple people want the same thing that you're putting out here or something about that, okay? Or maybe the challenge is getting like some sort of celebration up and running. I wonder if maybe it's like bad timing or there's too many things like all at once, that kind of thing, okay? That might have something to do with something here. All right. Okay, so let's see. You guys have the Strength card, and this is showing up for your opportunity. So that's kind of nice. I feel like I feel like your opportunity is to really, really acknowledge when it is that you need to kind of like tame the beast here and when you should maybe like push forward on something, okay? Like kind of like a display of strength, you know, something about that. And it might have to do with like finances or where you're allocating something about that, all right? That kind of stuff. It's possible that maybe you guys have the opportunity to do something that maybe most people would be like, that's actually like, I don't know that I would do that, or, you know, something like that. Okay, that could also be something that's showing up. So, all right, let's see what is going on here, Virgo. Virgo. Let's see. Maybe you have the goal of wanting to like make something like easier for somebody else, you know, like kind of like let somebody else like have like get a break, or like I don't know, something like that. Maybe helping somebody financially or something like that. Okay, whatever this is, I see this as like you being like, yeah, I'm investing in this because it's like a good idea, and it does. There's the Emperor, so it doesn't even have to be like an investment in like finances. It could be like I'm investing time into this thing because it's going to pay off in the long run, or I'm investing, you know, into whatever it is because it's like that's going to help in the long run. The Queen of Swords just came out, so and with the Emperor, so I mean, whatever this is, there's definitely an energy of being like extremely precise about what it is that you're kind of doing here, that kind of stuff. Maybe being in charge of whatever this is, you know, kind of being the leader of whatever this is here. All right, and maybe even having to spot something or kind of be able to. Now I'm seeing like a mail room where they like, you know, like what the heck is that? The Whoville, the Christmas Grinch. I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that. So the Grinch, right? That movie, like, you know, like in the mailroom, there's like tubes going everywhere and like all that kind of stuff. Like I'm kind of seeing that, being like, you have to know where this is going and this is going, and like something about that. I was saying something to Sagittarius about them being like, I was getting a feeling of like organization, you know, that kind of stuff. I wonder if that's like maybe coming into your reading as well, Virgo. Okay, certainly could be. So all right, let's see. Well, Virgo. King of Cups just came out. I don't know how I feel about that King of Cups. So all right, let's go. Let's see. All right. Okay, so with the Six of Pentacles, you got Queen of Wands. With the Six of Pentacles, you guys have the Moon card. I am understanding. So first of all, I wonder if you guys are really big into like film or movies or TV, something about that, because I'm getting a lot of like TV references or like things from like a movie or a show or something like that, kind of like pop into my head. So all right, Six of Pentacles, you have the Moon card. So for some of you guys, it's almost like you're like, how did this get here? Or who brought this? Or what is this? Or something like that. And for others of you guys, I understand like maybe donating something anonymously, okay? Or doing something that maybe it's like, I don't really know what else to do with this, so I guess I'll just like, you know, donate it or something about that kind of stuff. I'm also understanding like a shot in the dark. I'm not sure. And I think I might have said that before in a reading. You know, I'm kind of feeling like I've said that. I feel like that's like deja vu. So, all right, let's see. Okay, so you guys have the Two of Cups, and then you have it with the Hierophant here, and this is showing up in the area of your feelings. So all right, I feel like there's a level of commitment to something here, okay? Or there's something that is just like, it's like, this is my belief system, or this is my tradition. We always do this, or I always do this thing, something about that, okay? And I wonder if you're kind of feeling like, I want to share this with somebody else, or I want, like, if this is like a tradition of some sort, I wonder if you're like, I want to pass this down, or I want this thing to kind of like continue on in some sense, all right? That kind of situation, that might be something that you're, you know, kind of feeling. All right, so let's see. You know what I'm also getting here? I'm also getting, Virgo, that there might be something like kind of quite intuitive here that you actually really kind of want to share with somebody, that kind of thing. But I wonder if you're feeling like they're not going to listen to me, or this person doesn't believe in that kind of stuff. They're not open for, you know, this type of conversation or something about that. This could be something that you've tried more than once, and maybe it's like, you know, somebody, again, is like not taking you seriously, or isn't giving you like the attention that like whatever this topic is like deserves. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. All right, so you have the Knight of Pentacles, and then you have it with Fortitude here, and this is again showing up for your environment. So okay, this feels like somebody who like maybe needs to use a good amount of strength to start something, or to get like a plan put in action. All right, that kind of stuff. I do understand that. Okay, I also understand somebody who maybe if they've been like sitting down too long or something about that, might need to just kind of like move around, or do something to like blow off steam. I don't know, something like that. All right. Okay. There is a good amount of like planning. I just feel like this hasn't been like actualized yet, or it hasn't been like put in concrete, or it hasn't been like all of the steps haven't been put together, or something like that. That's kind of what I'm understanding. So all right, let's see. With the Empress card here for your goal, you have the Eight of Pentacles. So yeah, it's like, I think there's a certain amount of like, I know how to do this, or I've done this so many times that I know how to make this like extremely efficient. And I think that that's where you're wanting to like either help somebody out in the way of making something like efficient, or to get something like kind of like banging something out like one after another, that kind of stuff. I do understand that for your goal, and I really feel like it has something to do with like you've learned a certain technique, or you kind of mastered a certain skill, whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. And I feel like there's this energy of like, and now I can give back, or now I can like, since I can support myself, I want to be able to like support like maybe other people who are like just learning something, or who don't have enough as you do, or you know what I'm saying, something like that. So all right. I'm also getting fertility references here, okay? I'm also getting possible fertility references, or something about like possibly like mothering, parenting, something like that, okay? But I do understand being like, I want things to either get easier, or I want this process to be more efficient, something like that. So, all right, you have the Princess of Cups, and this is showing up as the action to take. So this to me feels like something is definitely possible, that kind of situation. I just feel like the action here is to kind of believe that, all right, that kind of stuff. I would also say listening to your intuition with something here, which I feel like I'm always going to say to listen to your intuition. You know, I'm never going to say like, hey, don't listen to your intuition, unless there's like a bunch of cards that indicate like maybe there's something up with that right now, that kind of stuff, okay? Yeah, there is something about like leaning into your intuition, or letting yourself daydream with something, okay, that kind of stuff. What I even understand is maybe if there's something here that you like, you know, have been doing like around the clock, or not even that, but kind of being like super diligent with the way that you're doing something, or the way you're learning something, or like apprenticing on something, that kind of thing. I feel like, again, it's like, I want to say going off script, or doing something kind of like dreamy or ethereal, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure like what in God's green earth I'm saying, but it feels kind of accurate. So that's what that's what I'm going to go with. So all right, you have the Nine of Cups here, and this is showing up as what this is going to bring. I feel like it's bringing satisfaction, a level of fulfillment, that kind of stuff. If there's something you're looking for in the terms of like growth, I feel like that's perfectly it's like up for grabs, or it's something that's definitely, you know, kind of available to you in some sense, especially with that Nine of Cups. It's like having like, maybe even like having a wish and then having it come true. You know what I'm saying? The Page of Cups to the Nine of Cups there. So, all right, you have the Eight of Cups, and this is showing up as what to avoid. So yeah, I would say probably like don't settle, that kind of stuff. If there's something left, like, You know what this is making me think of? You know, like if you're going through like, let's say like board games or something like that, and it's like some of the pieces are missing. It's almost like, yes, we're going to throw those away because that is not complete, or, you know, something like that. I know it's a specific example, but like something like that, you know what I'm saying? Like making sure you have like all of the pieces to something, or that something is reusable in some sense without having to like replace something. Yeah, like a hand-me-down. That's kind of what I feel like I'm saying here. So, all right, let's see. So, okay, you guys have the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have it with the Three of Cups here showing up as your challenge. I wonder if this is like maybe feeling a little bit nervous, like in a social capacity here. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it does feel like there's maybe this indication of like doing something like kind of like privately, or not wanting to like completely expose like maybe what it is you're, I want to say donating to, or volunteering at, or something like that, or maybe even just investing in. There might be something that you're, maybe you invest purely intuitively, okay? That kind of stuff. That's how I invest. I'll tell you that right now. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you all my secrets. I invest like this. I look at numbers. I don't know what any of them mean, but my brain's like, that's the one, and then I make money. So it's great. I don't know, can't figure it out, but it's awesome. So, all right, so there might be something there that you're like, I do things intuitively, or I like invest into things with using my intuition, you know, something about that, okay, that kind of stuff. I'm also getting hit with the idea of somebody giving you something and it's a secret, nobody knows about it, or something about that, or a certain person is unaware of where somebody's spending their time or something. Might be something about that. Okay, I am picking that up. So, all right, yes. So, okay, so interesting. So this Wheel of Fortune, this is coming prior to this Three of Cups here. So, I feel like there's something here that the challenge is taking a chance on something, or kind of like doing something a little bit, I want to say different, in the sense of maybe not being able to kind of like really control like where the wheel is spinning, or something about that, okay, that kind of stuff. That maybe there's like a surprise involved in whatever this is, or there's just something that it's like, well, that threw a wrench in it, or something regarding that kind of thing, okay, that could maybe show up as some sort of challenge. And I do understand this as like in like in a social capacity, or a certain friend group, or something like that, okay? Or at the very least, something that is like maybe, you know, worth celebrating, or worth like kind of celebrating, being like cheerful about, that kind of stuff, all right? I also think this maybe is a time that you might be like seeing like really strong synchronicities, that kind of stuff. Maybe ones that like came to you a while ago, and you might have been, or like downloads, and you might have been like, I'm not exactly sure where to place that. I wonder if like things are kind of like falling in line in some sense, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay, so you have the Princess of Wands, and this is showing up as the action to take here. So yeah, definitely like being open to like some sort of like adventure, or some sort of, you know, something new, you know, a sense of adventure, sense of doing something a little bit like different, that kind of stuff, okay? That's kind of what I feel like is part of the action to take, especially if there's like this thing where it's like, oh gosh, this is a social thing and I'm feeling kind of nervous, whatever it is. Like, it might be that there's like one particular thing that you're like excited for. There's one particular thing that you're like, I really want to move in that direction, that kind of stuff. That's what I mean by listening to your intuition. It's like kind of going where it is that you feel like you should, without really controlling everything else involved. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. All right, so I hope that made sense. So you have this Seven of Swords, and this is showing up as what the Princess of Wands here will bring in. So, for some of you guys, this might offer you a chance to like escape something that maybe you're feeling like you don't want to attend, or something about that, okay? You might find some way here to kind of like maybe use your inspiration, or something that you're just kind of like an impulse of some sort. Like there's something there. I almost feel like I want to say it's bringing some sort of attention on you, but I feel like maybe this is something that you're like not, again, like not really wanting a whole bunch of attention for this, or something regarding that, okay? That kind of stuff. I also pick up a little bit of like nervous energy with this Princess of Wands here. So it might be like, hey, being nervous and like, I said this in a reading before, being excited and being nervous, like there's a difference, but sometimes they can feel the same. So it's almost like, all right, am I really nervous for this, or am I actually kind of excited for it? And maybe there's also some nerves attached, you know, that kind of stuff, kind of like, you know, figuring that out a little bit, or just kind of thinking about that in some sense. Okay. I'm kind of, this Seven of Swords is like really interesting to me, especially those of you, Virgo, who are like, again, maybe already like intuitively feel like possibly somebody is like putting something or is like devoting their time, energy, whatever the heck it is, to something that maybe like you are unsure of, or this could be vice versa. Maybe this is you guys investing into something or giving something to somebody that somebody else is unaware of in some sense, okay, that kind of thing. And that might be, there might be like, I don't know, a need to kind of like lie about something or to at the very least like escape something in some capacity, kind of avoiding something really. All right, so you have the Last Judgment, and this is showing up as what to avoid. So I feel like this is like, don't make a snap decision on something, that kind of stuff, okay? You know, don't make a snap decision on something or a snap judgment on whatever this is here, that kind of stuff, okay? And I will also say, I don't know, God, this is kind of frustrating because I am getting the idea of being like, don't be completely shocked if there's somebody around you who's like not facing, or is not taking accountability on something, or who like refuses to like, take accountability on something. That's really kind of what I want to say there, right? There's something about that, a little interesting. So, all right, let's see. Okay, so you guys have the Ten of Swords with this Strength card here. Also, you have the Strength card twice, so maybe there's, maybe you're dealing with a Leo, okay, or this is just like, hey, we gotta use our strength here, that kind of stuff. Also, this could be like power, and we were talking about investing, that kind of stuff. So, you know, certainly that kind of makes sense with that. So, all right, Ten of Swords, Ten of Swords and the Strength card here showing up for your opportunity. I feel like there's been something in the past that ended, whether this was the way that you wanted it to, or you felt like, whoa, that's like, that was kind of a backstab, or you were like, that's exactly like, I need to end this thing and I'm finalizing it, that kind of stuff. That seems to have happened in the past. So now it's like, there's something here about either like rebuilding your endurance for something, or rebuilding like your like courage to go back into something, or to, you know, try something here, that kind of stuff. I will also say, I wonder if there was maybe a bit of like, I want to say even overgiving or going like overboard on something to the degree of like, this is overkill, whatever it is, that kind of stuff, you know, that's kind of what I'm understanding. But I also at the same time here feel like you don't see it as being an overkill situation. Maybe that is somebody else's perspective, okay, that kind of thing. Either way, it feels like your opportunity and your environment involves something to do with like strength energy. So again, I'm understanding that as like, you know, having like endurance for something, or being like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and like, here we go, like, we're doing it, that's what it is. Almost like pumping yourself up, I'm kind of getting. All right, so you have the King of Pentacles, and this is showing up as the action to take. So for some of you guys, it could be that maybe this, you know what I want to say, is like a risk analysis. I don't even know what that means, but it's almost like, okay, how much time do we have here, right? And then kind of figuring out what it is, like what your goal is, and then kind of adjusting what it is that you're like, okay, I'm going to invest in this, or I'm going to spend my time here, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. But it's like first knowing what the end goal is, or first knowing like, like how long something is going to take, or something about that, okay, that kind of situation. I also think maybe there's something about taking like, maybe a slow and steady approach with something here, or doing something that is like a surefire, like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to work out, that kind of thing, okay? There certainly could be something about that. All right. All right. There is something about going back and forth between like doing something riskier versus doing something like more aggressive. What? Doing something riskier versus doing something more of like in a safe approach, that kind of thing, okay? And I do think like time has to do with something here. So, all right, you have the Star card, and this is showing up as what this King of Pentacles will bring. So that to me is like healing your finances, or at the very least, like making something just like, maybe even making you just feel more comfortable, healing something, maybe healing finances, healing something here, okay? That kind of thing. That's what I'm understanding. I actually really like that. Like, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, this feels like definitely like, again, healing finances, maybe healing, again, like kind of that secret energy that I'm picking up on here is maybe there's, you know, somebody is not exactly sure where it is that like you're spending your time, energy, money, whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. All right. There might be like a question about that. I wonder if there's somebody around you who's trying to figure that out, that kind of thing. Okay. That feels a little scary, actually. I'm like, what? All right. So, okay. So let's see. So you have the Ace of Cups, and this is showing up as what to avoid. So, all right, here's the thing. There is a good amount about like kind of, I want to say like not showing all your cards at once, or something. something like that, okay? So it could be that what to avoid is maybe making a decision out of an emotional response, or making it a emotionally charged decision, okay? That kind of stuff. Like, again, you have, Ten of Swords and the Strength card here. So it's almost like maybe this is like learning from a past defeat, something about that. It could even be like seeing this as like a learning lesson, kind of like a blessing in disguise, something about that. So I do think this is like, hey, don't like wrap up your emotions in whatever this is, and also don't make a decision when maybe you're in like an emotionally heightened state or something like that. All right. Okay. All right, so that's what I have for you guys, Virgo. I hope this reading was helpful and made sense, all that kind of stuff. If not, you could check your other placements, and I'll see you guys back for your next one. Thank you. Bye.